Welcome back to another episode of Sports Tips by Jellyman, NBA by Jellyman segment here on Tuesday, April the 4th, with no games on today, but looking forward to Wednesday, Thursday and Friday's games. Obviously the NBA's coming to a close, the regular season. I think it's next Monday it ends. So we've got these three games coming up. We'll then shoot another one on Friday, covering obviously, Saturday, Sunday and the last day of the season, Monday's games, with a lot of teams still in playoff contention, a lot of teams trying to shore up positions, etc., etc. Looking at obviously points, rebounds, assists, all these players in these crucial games playing big minutes. So having a look into a bit more of that in depth. But going into topic 1, player and team consistencies. Topic 2, NBA upcoming week preview. So as we said, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then NBA Wednesday, the 5th of April, best bets. We're having a look at some hot players in those teams that are playing, but we'll crack into it first of all. So topic 1, player consistencies, player and stats to watch in the home stretch. Obviously, Young and Murray, the two main ones for the Atlanta Hawks. Young, 10 plus assists in 3 of his last 4 games, and Murray 20 plus points in 4 of his last 5 games. For the Celtics, as usual, Brown and Tatum, but Tatum 34 plus points in 4 of his last 5 games, and then also 7 plus rebounds in his last 5 games. For the Nets, it's Bridges and Dinwiddie. Bridges 27 plus points in his last 6 games. For the Bulls, obviously Levine, DeRozan and Vooch still, but Levine 23 plus points in 5 of his last 6 games. For the Cavs, Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, obviously Allen's also back as well, but he's been in and out of the lineup. Inconsistent at the moment with obviously points and rebounds and minutes. But Mitchell 30 plus points in 5 of his last 6 games, and then Garland 20 plus points in his last 3 games, and then for Mobley 7 plus rebounds in his last 5 games, but Allen's been out for a couple of them, so depending on how you want to factor that in. For the Mavericks, obviously Luka and Kyrie, looking to them both, but the Mavericks have actually lost 7 of their last 8 games, and they've fallen out of the play-in tournament in 11th position at the moment, and I guess waiting on other teams to see how they end up. The Nuggets, so the Joker out currently with a couple of niggling complaints, one being a calf, but Jamal Murray 21 plus points in 5 of his last 7 games, and then also 7 plus assists in his last 6 games as well. For the Warriors, looking at Clay, Curry and Poole, but both have been all 3 have been inconsistent, away, road. For the Clippers, obviously Kawhi and Westbrook, but no consistencies there either. For the Lakers, Davis, James and Russell. I think they've actually won all 4 games when those 3 play together, which is quite interesting. AD, 37 plus points in 4 of his last 5 games and 9 plus rebounds in his last 12. And then James, 7 plus rebounds in his last 4 games as well. For the Grizzlies, as always, looking at Morant and Bane, also Jackson Jr., but Bane's been the most consistent there with 20 plus points in his last 6 games. For the Heat, obviously Butler, the only consistent player on that team at the moment, 23 plus points in 10 of his last 12 games. For the Bucks, now they're a weird one to watch coming towards the back end of the season. They may sort of rest a couple of their players, or they may play them half a game and then take them out, but that's one to watch there. Anyway, Giannis had 30 plus points in 4 of his last 6 games. For the Timberwolves, they're still playing in for that play-in/playoff position. So playing all their players' key moments and key time. Gobert, 11 plus rebounds in his last 6 games there, even with Towns back. For the Pelicans, Ingram has stepped it up, making a play-in/playoff push. 26 plus points in his last 9 games there. Also quite a few 30 plus point games as well. For the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, 25 plus points in 3 of his last 4 games. The Knicks at the moment aren't too healthy, so they're also one to watch coming into this playoff series, depending if all their players are healthy. For the Thunder, SGA, when healthy, 30 plus points in 6 of his last 7 games. For the Suns, Durant, 30 plus points in his last 2 games since returning 3 games ago. Also, obviously, looking at Booker, Aiden, Paul assists in that one. For the 76ers, Maxey, 21 plus points in 8 of his last 9 games. James Harden, 10 plus assists in 6 of his last 7. And the Kings still looking at Fox and Sabonis, but they're in a similar position to your Nuggets, Grizzlies, with sort of potentially resting players towards this back end of the season and into the playoffs. Topic 2, the standings update. So a couple of little shifts, but 11th is Dallas. They've got the Kings, Bulls and Spurs coming up. 10th is OKC. This is in the West. They've got the Warriors, Jazz and Memphis coming up. 9th. They've moved down from 7th, the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've got Brooklyn Spurs and the Pelicans. 8th is the Lakers. They've got the Jazz, Clippers, Suns, and Jazz again, so they should win potentially 3 of those 4 games, which may even bump them up to the 6th or 7th position. funny that prior to the All-Star break, they were completely out of it. 7th is now the Pelicans. They've jumped up from 9th. They've got the Kings, Grizzlies, Knicks, and Wolves. Those 3 next games are big for them, depending on if the Kings play their full team, the Grizzlies play their full team, and the Knicks are healthy. There could be 3 out of 4 wins, and that last game against the Wolves could be a position juggling game there. The 6th position is the Clippers. They've got the Lakers, Blazers, and Suns. Could lose 2 of those 3, depending on health. 5th is the Warriors. They've got the Thunder, Kings, and Blazers. And 4th is the Suns. They've got the Spurs, Nuggets, Lakers, and Clippers there. In the East, no real changes apart from maybe Atlanta and Toronto shifting spots. 10th is the Bulls, 9th is Atlanta, 8th Toronto, 7th is Miami, 6th is Brooklyn. But the only thing that may shift is 7th, 8th, and 9th, we believe. I think Brooklyn have got that spot in their 6th, and I don't think Chicago can move up anymore. But it really obviously depends about wins and losses towards the back end of the season. Topic 3, NBA upcoming week preview. So looking at Wednesday's games, the Raptors at the Hornets, obviously the Raptors needing to win. The Heat at the Pistons, Heat need to win. Wolves at the Nets was an interesting one, both obviously needing a win. The Celtics at the Sixers, now if all players play, it'll be an MVP contest. Also the top of the East matchup, all that sort of jazz there. But, you know, the Celtics, the way they blew out the Bucks, they could potentially try to do the same thing to Philly there. The Hawks, the Bulls both needing a win. Kings at the Pelicans, Pelicans near the W. Lakers and the Jazz, Lakers needing to win. And then the Thunder at the Warriors, 50-50. Will be a good contest though. But the Warriors at home should get that win. Thursday's games, Nets at the Pistons. Nets obviously need to win. Raps at the Celtics will be a good game depending if Boston play all their players on a back-to-back. Bulls at the Bucks. Once again, if the Bucks are healthy, but the Bulls needing a win. The Grizzlies at the Pelicans. Just be a good one-on-one matchup there. Kings at the Mavericks. Mavs obviously need a win. Will the Kings play all their players? And then the Lakers at the Clippers will be also a really good contest. Both teams needing a W there. Friday's games, we've got the Heat at the Sixers. Just a good one-on-one matchup there. A low-scoring affair most likely. Thunder at the Jazz. Thunder needing a win. And the Nuggets at the Spurs. Suns obviously need... Nuggets at the Suns. Suns obviously need that W there. But looking at topic 4, which is best bets for tomorrow, depending on what markets are open. I'm not too sure what's really going to be open. So the Bucks Wizards staying away from that game. Raptors Hornets. I mean, Raptors are minus 14.5. Probably stay away from that one as well. Heat Pistons. Heat are minus 11.5. Probably stay away from that one. Cavaliers Magic, same sort of deal. The Wolves and the Nets, almost even money. We'll likely look at some player props for that one. Celtics at the Sixers. Celtics 213, but depending on who's healthy for that matchup. Hawks at the Bulls 231, 162. Total points over in that one is also a good shout. Nuggets at the Rockets, stay away from that one. Blazers at the Grizzlies, minus 18.5 of the Grizzlies. Kings at the Pelicans. Pelicans 173, good value there. Their line as well, minus 2.5. Lakers at the Jazz, they're 129 and minus 7.5. Thunder at the Warriors, they're plus 7.5. Thunder are minus 7.5 there. And there's no player markets open currently at the moment. But obviously having a look at the show notes to see who has been most consistent players in the teams playing off tomorrow. But that is all for this week. We'll be back on Friday as per usual. As usual, feel free to like, follow, and subscribe for more insights and recommendations for your week ahead at NBA, NRL, and AFL. Thank you.